And fair to say anybody in the world of mixed martial arts will tell you it's hard to make Dana White do anything. Though the cosmic collision of boxing and UFC, Mayweather and McGregor, may have even the notoriously tough president relent just a bit. Yesterday, during a radio interview, he called the Irishman, quote, a unicorn. And the amount of money that this fight could bring with Floyd Mayweather makes him almost feel like he has to make it occur. Those are the words of Dana White. For more on those words, we welcome in our UFC insider, Brett Okamoto, who joins us from Buffalo. He's getting ready for UFC 210 on Saturday. What do you make of these comments from Dana here, Brett?
Well, I think that they're significant just in the sense that they once again show that the UFC is on board with this idea of Conor McGregor fighting Floyd Mayweather. You know, you and I have talked about this fight, it seems like, for years now, Zubin, and essentially what I always used to say is that the biggest hurdle is going to be the UFC because Conor McGregor is under contract with the UFC. He's their biggest star. Are they really going to go let him box, make money, go boxing, potentially lose, look bad in a fight against Floyd Mayweather? That was going to be the biggest hurdle. And so now when you've got Dana White saying, look, this guy has headlined big cards for us. He stepped up to the plate. Even when he had opponents withdraw at the very last minute, he stayed on the card so we didn't have to cancel the event. How can I stop this guy from making a $75, $100 million payday when he doesn't make half of that? You know, on a particular night fighting for the UFC.
All makes sense from that perspective. Besides the rhetoric and the bluster, of which there's a lot, what's the actual next step towards making this mega fight a reality?
Well, I was talking to Dana White in Las Vegas before I headed out here to Buffalo for UFC 210, and what he told me is that Conor McGregor, he's going to have that baby in May, right? That we've known that for a long time. After the birth of his child, Dana White would like to meet with Conor McGregor in New York. He says that that's right in between where they both are. Dana White lives in Las Vegas. Obviously, Conor McGregor lives in Dublin, Ireland. They'll meet in the middle in New York, and they will hammer out some of the finer details of how exactly to make this fight a reality. So no set date on that yet. You know, Conor's concentrating on being on his fatherhood coming up. But then once that happens, Dana White would like to meet with him on the East Coast.
Okay, so we'll wait till May, and then we'll wait to see what happens. Before I let you go, you're out there in Buffalo, as I mentioned, covering UFC 210, but you're not alone. I hear Jon Jones is out there. What's the latest with him?
Well, the latest with him is that he's still suspended. He's still serving that one-year suspension that he got for testing positive for a banned substance back right before UFC 200. He's eligible to return in July of this year. The reason he's out here is, one, he's from this area, and two, it's his division. It's Daniel Cormier facing Anthony Johnson. The winner of that fight at UFC 210 is going to face Jon Jones. I believe he'll get a title shot as soon as he comes back. I would look for that fight to happen maybe in late July. I would think that would be a time frame for it to happen. But Jon Jones is going to hopefully be returning to this division and fighting the winner of Saturday.
Indeed, there has been some issues, as many know, away from the octagon. We're getting ready for the third UFC pay-per-view of the year, with the big story being a fight that could shatter pay-per-view records everywhere and anywhere, if and when it ever occurs. That's our Brett Okamoto telling us what the next steps might be.
Jacare, of course, we all know that Jacare wants his shot at the belt, and he's not happy. Yoel Romero wants his shot at the belt. Luke Rockhold wants his shot. The list goes on and on and on. You know, I understand why they're so annoyed. Everybody wants a shot at the belt. Everybody wants to be world champion. And I wanted to be world champion for a long time prior to getting my title shot. Now we've got Yoel Romero going on. We've got Jacare here. Jacare's, you know, he's going on a tirade lately. He's whining. He says here, I've been very anxious, but nowadays I don't suffer anymore. I'm calm and settled with my work in the UFC and earning a good salary. I'm winning more than Bisping since he doesn't fight. Incorrect. If he's getting by on pay-per-view points, he's dead because his fight with Dan Henderson was shit. Then he goes, trash talk didn't happen because it didn't have to happen, but sometimes I didn't tell the truth, says Jacare. I didn't say what I had to say. If I were to do something different, I would have spoken the truth. More like, look, this guy is a loser. In the old days, I would say that. I wouldn't change my approach, but I'm just telling you the truth, how it is. I should have done that a long time ago. Bisping is a loser. So here we go. Obviously, not very nice things. Yoel doesn't say very nice things. You know what the thing is? I had to wait a very, very long time for my title shot. And I didn't go out there and I didn't whine. I didn't bitch. I didn't go to Twitter and Instagram and in every single fucking journalist that I spoke to. And woe is me and this is ridiculous and the state of mixed martial arts and the UFC is going to shit. I never said that. You do you. You carry on fighting. The cream rises to the top. And if you're good enough, you'll get your fucking shot. And if you're so good, Jacare, and if you're so good, Yoel Romero, the landscape of MMA is ever changing. And if you're that good, if you're that bad, you're going to continue to win fights and you'll get your shot. So stop whinging, stop complaining, get over it. I'm fighting GSP, hopefully in the summer, early autumn, as we call it, early fall. And that's just that. It's set in motion. The fight is happening. It's going to do big business. Get over it. In the meantime, perhaps you guys can rematch because Jacare lost to Yoel, which I thought it was a close fight anyway. I thought maybe that Jacare won that fight regardless. And then, of course, Yoel Romero tested positive. So I don't see why those two guys don't rematch in the interim. Maybe they can be a co-main event on that card. And then I get to face the winner because, of course, I plan on beating GSP. Of course, GSP brings a lot of things to the table, but I plan on winning that fight, and then it will be on to the next contender. So, I mean, it goes back to my point what I was saying. When I wanted a title shot, I didn't whine and complain and whinge and bitch. Okay, and if they've got any complaints, make them to the UFC. Don't make them to me. I'm doing me, you do you. And that's about all I can say, really. Regarding GSP, still no word on an actual date set for the fight. I spoke to Dana via text message a few days ago. Still waiting to hear. I don't think it's going to be in July. July 8th was the date they were targeting. International Fight Week. I don't think it's going to be that date, pardon me. But who knows? Who knows? I mean, if I was to be a conspiracy theorist, then I could think that UFC make more money out of GSP being the champion, so maybe they're just, not telling me the date and then throw it on me last minute. And of course, I'm being silly and I'm just saying if I was a conspiracy theorist and paranoid, I could think that, but Dana's always been great to me. But I'm waiting to hear the date. I'm hearing from unofficial sources and sources close to George that it's going to be September, even as late as October. It's a little frustrating. I did say a while ago, I need a date. I do need a date. I need to, I need to plan my life as everybody does. Yeah. Come on, George. Sign the goddamn papers. But not talking about me. UFC 210 this week. And, of course, we've got Weidman versus Gegard Mousasi. I've got to say I respect Weidman for this fight. I respect him for taking this fight. Do I think it's a smart fight? No, I don't. I don't think it's a smart fight at all. I think it's a bad fight because I think Weidman's going to lose. And I think he's going to lose for a variety of reasons. Now, of course, over the years, me and Chris have kind of had a contentious relationship. I've never really had the nicest things to say about him. I like Chris. I think he's a good dude. I think he's a great fighter. I think he's got excellent jiu-jitsu. He's got fantastic wrestling. And he was a good champion. But I always said that he had an easy road to the title, so that kind of caused me and Chris to have some friction. But I've got nothing personal against Chris. He seems like a very decent person, so I wish him all the best. But I just think losing to Luke Rockhold, then losing to Yoel Romero in the fashion that he did, they were both stoppages. Last one was a knockout via flying knee. The fight against Rockhold was pretty much a systematic beatdown. Now, that has got to affect your confidence. I don't care who you are. You go out there, you get served, you get handled very, very convincingly in two fights. That has to affect your confidence going into this fight. If you look at the two on the feet, I've never really seen Chris to be that fast or that slick on the feet. He's kind of robotic. He kind of plods. He's not sharp, and he has a very limited striking range. That's why I thought Luke Rockhold would beat him. And that's why I think Mousasi's going to beat him. I think Mousasi came very, very close to being on the Dutch Olympic boxing team. Of course, he's at home, but this will be his 50th pro MMA fight. Very, very good on the ground. Fantastic striker and has a lot of momentum. Of course, on the flip side, as I said, Chris isn't as sharp on the feet and he's lost his last two. And it really is a big thing. The mental aspect of this sport is huge. And if you doubt yourself, which Chris may do, I'm not saying he's going to. Chris might look like a genius here. He might come back, win this fight, and put himself right back in title contention. Now, of course, that's his plan. That's his big play here. He's going to get right back into title contention. But that's a very risky, roll of the dice, because if he loses it, that's 3 in a row.